How do you make routine tasks more interesting, more meaningful? Because as a solopreneur, you're going to have to do some things again and again and again, repeat some projects or tasks again and again and again, so that you can keep growing in the skill and get better results. I've been a solopreneur since 2009, and trust me, I have done so many things again and again and again. So for example, creating content or creating offers, or I mean, just even doing bookkeeping and things like that. So I'm really curious to first hear from you. You know, if you're able to pause this video and comment below, I'd love to see. I'd love to see it. How do you make routine? So think about one of the routine tasks that you do on a regular basis. What is it? And then how do you make that more interesting, more enjoyable, more meaningful for you? Let me know below. Okay. Well, let me go and share with you two unique ways of doing it, and let me know if either of these are helpful. So the first is I try to see every task and every moment, if I can, as an opportunity to practice my spirituality. That's it. And I don't know what your spirituality is, and feel free to share with us below if you like to say anything about that. But it's a single task is either interesting and enjoyable on its own. Think about this. So something you're doing is already enjoyable, already meaningful. That could be true. Or the other option is it's not naturally enjoyable and meaningful and probably even boring, which then presents a greater opportunity to transform that task into something meaningful. And so for me, that is a challenge for me that I try to take on every day. So for example, let's say I'm doing bookkeeping, one of the tasks that a lot of solopreneurs don't enjoy. Okay, how do I make that? And I do that all the time. I've done it thousands of times, right? How do I make it interesting? Well, how do I make it spiritually enlivening? So everything I say, is there a virtue that I can practice here? That's the shortcut question that I ask. What virtue can I practice here? So for example, with bookkeeping, I might say, I could practice a virtue of curiosity. So as I look at each number, it's like, what does this number represent? I can try to intentionally bring a spirit of curiosity to it. Or let's say I'm making a video. I have now made thousands of videos since 2009. Whether I'm teaching courses or whether I'm making social media videos, I've made thousands now. So it's quite routine for me at this point. I could just turn on a video and start speaking, and it's not a big deal for me anymore. I know for some people it is still requiring a lot of energy, but for me it's not a big deal. So what do? I say, how do I bring more courage to this video? Because maybe I'm a little anxious that this video might not land for people, but that's okay. I'm going to bring courage and try to speak the truth anyway, right? Or how do I bring more love to this video? Instead of just speaking the message, how do I really try to bring heart and a sense of caring for the audience member to the video? So that's another example. Again, if you look at every task in your day, it's either interesting on its own, or you can make it, there's an opportunity for you to make it interesting by bringing your spiritual side to it, and it's an opportunity for spiritual practice, right? It's a beautiful opportunity, every task. The second, as I've mentioned, that the second way of doing it is it's spiritual as well, but it's more playful. You can ask yourself, how do I bring more play into this task? Anything can be made more playful. So back to the bookkeeping example, right? Let's say bookkeeping is boring for you, for example. Then you might go, well, how do I make it more playful? And I'm going to be silly with you right now. Let's look at each number and go, what does that number represent? You could say that in a funny voice, a silly voice. Aha, that number is for the software subscription. I mean, it sounds so childish and playful, but we adults have lost a lot of our playfulness, and I think it would benefit us to bring it back. It would benefit us. It would benefit the task at hand, probably. It would benefit the people around us. And so I try to practice that too, and just try to bring more play to anything that I'm doing. Sometimes I bring the play, and sometimes I bring more of the spiritual virtue side of it. But this is the way I work through my whole day, if I can. So therefore, no day is ever boring for me. No hour ever needs to be routine or tedious, because there's always an opportunity for you to practice your creativity to bring something more meaningful to the presence as you do that task. Well, I hope this is helpful in some way, and I look forward to seeing if it does help. Thanks for watching.